And at this point, something subtle but powerful starts happening. You begin to separate emotion from execution. And that's a turning point most creators never reach, because instead of reacting to every result with frustration or excitement, you start observing patterns with a calm, almost analytical mindset, noticing what actually drives clicks, what keeps people watching, and what quietly pushes them away. And that shift alone puts you in a different category of creator. Because when you remove emotion from decision-making, your growth becomes more stable, more predictable, and far less chaotic, and suddenly you're not guessing anymore. You're testing, refining, and improving with intention, and that changes how you approach every single piece of content you create. Now you start paying attention to small details that you previously overlooked. How the first 5 seconds of your video perform, how your hook connects with curiosity, how your pacing affects retention, and how your message is delivered in a way that keeps the viewer engaged without overwhelming them. And this level of awareness is what separates casual creators from strategic ones. And as you continue building with this mindset, something important begins to develop. Confidence built on understanding, not just hope, because when you understand why something works, you don't depend on luck, you depend on process, and that process becomes your foundation for consistent improvement. At the same time, your content begins to evolve naturally, not through random changes, but through controlled refinement, where every new video is slightly better than the last, not drastically different, but noticeably improved in structure, clarity, and impact, and over time, these small improvements accumulate into something significant. This is where branding becomes even more important, because as your content improves, your identity needs to stay consistent so that your audience can recognize you instantly, connect with your style, and understand the value you bring without confusion. And when that happens, your channel starts to feel like a destination instead of just another option. And once your channel reaches that level of clarity, something powerful begins to happen. Trust starts to build, and trust is the foundation of growth, because people don't just subscribe to content, they subscribe to experiences, to consistency, and to creators who deliver what they promise every time. So instead of constantly changing your direction, you start strengthening your foundation, focusing on what already works, improving what needs refinement, and removing what doesn't contribute to your overall vision. And that level of discipline creates stability in your growth. Because in the long run, consistency beats intensity, and creators who understand this are able to sustain their growth over time, while others burn out by constantly chasing quick results without building a solid base. And as you move deeper into this process, you begin to realize that success is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. And that realization simplifies your entire approach, allowing you to focus on what truly matters instead of getting distracted by unnecessary complexity. At this stage, your journey is no longer about proving yourself. It's about refining yourself, improving your craft, and building something that reflects your growth, your understanding, and your commitment to doing things the right way. And with every step forward, your channel becomes stronger, not just in numbers, but in identity, in clarity, and in the way it connects with people. And that connection is what ultimately defines long-term success on the platform.